Hey, thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 27th of... Can it really be March? It is. It's almost the end of March. It's almost April. And it's time for you to learn about cults. Why do I care about that? Well, first of all, I want you to know there's many different cults. So it isn't just Scientology. I have talked to academics who study cults, and they've told me the two worst cults are the Moonies and the Church of Scientology. Why? Basically because they build in these traps where you cannot even think about it or talk to anybody about it early on, like right when you get in there. Now again, I know people will say, I would never do that. Well, first of all, I would not either if I knew this. When we got in, most of us, it was way before the internet, so there was absolutely no access to any of this information that most of you know. Secondly, I have met some people who have gotten in the last 5 years, so that's amazing. Thankfully, they're getting out. They did get in touch with other people and learned the other side, the darker side of Scientology, and they got out. But anyway, today I'm I'm going to go over, this is part one of what is a cult. So you can kind of look at any area that you're in and see if possibly you're in a cult or not. And is Scientology a cult or not? Now, this is another good book. I showed you the other two. This is Releasing the Bonds by Steve Hassan. He's an excellent cult expert also. Was in the Moonies. And he and I have spoken together. One of the things I love, he said, is a group should not be considered a cult merely because it's unorthodox beliefs or practices. Instead, destructive cults are distinguished by their use of deception and mind control techniques to undermine a person's free will and make him dependent on the group's leader. Now, that's a big part of it. It really is when you think about it. The first one that we're going to go over, again, this is all based on originally the person that I knew who, and most people refer to as Robert Lifton, who wrote the Chinese mind, it was like the study of brainwashing in China. But it's an excellent book to read. The first step is Milieu Control, and that has to do with controlling someone's environment, not only their outside communications, but also their inside communications with themselves. And me personally, I'll give you one example. Right away, my mother was against Scientology because they tried to get me off my medicine for epilepsy. Most of you know, if you're new, that's what happened. And my mother started saying Dianetics isn't going to fix epilepsy. Me being 22 and totally, at the hands of these people who were saying it would, believed them, and started trying to get off my medicine and started having grand mal seizures, really bad grand mal seizures. Okay, first of all, let's look at what happened. I joined the C organization, which is their big top group, which is totally controlled. I mean, environment, verbally, physically, everything, right? But they're handling the planet, they're clearing mankind, all this other stuff. So I joined for that reason. Ran out of my medication. They sent me to this MLO, the Medical Liaison Officer. They all have these titles, so it sounds really, authoritative, which is another thing for mind control to work, right? And it was a young kid, he was like 19 years old, and he said, well, this is the program you need to go on. We're going to fix you and help you get off of your medication. And I was like, okay, I trusted him. Started doing started just cutting one of my pills down and started having grand mal seizures. Now, you would think right then I would go, no, this isn't working. I'm not doing it. But, I was part of this group, and that's part of Milieu Control. They've got all, they quickly cut off these people. Like my mom, I was sent right to ethics. And in ethics, they said, look, your mother, you've got to figure out who's your suppressive person because you have a physical condition, that's making you sick, which is ridiculous. It's really a physical condition. It's not an illness, do you know what I mean, per se. But either way, per their definition, they decided I had to get off my medication and figure out who was suppressing me. Now remember, for anybody new, I always show this, because they do declare people suppressive people. I'm a declared suppressive, very proudly. I'm happy to say that. But it's a bullshit term. It really is. It's like people, as Jerry Armstrong said, and I'll put the link in here where he says it, the SPs, which is suppressive people, are people, basically ordinary people who tell the truth about Scientology. And when you tell the truth, you're declared suppressive. And that's what happened. Here I am. Here's my SP Declare. Happened the day after Mark Bunker put up a video about me called Magoo Dancing in Boston. 15 September 2000. They never talked to me. Per their policies, they're supposed to do all this other stuff before they declare you. They never did any of it. Same for most people that are declared suppressive now. Those are out the window. Now, a lot of people in the Church of Scientology don't know that. But if you see this video, that's a fact. They did nothing. They didn't ever hear my side. Not anything. Not that I would change. But you can say, oh, well, they knew you wouldn't change. That's not what the policy says. They did not apply their policy at all. Okay, so there's one. They slowly got me. You could either do good roads, fair weather with someone that's suppressive on over to disconnection. And Hubbard said then disconnection was the last thing you wanted to do because it caused, big upsets within a lot of the family, which it used to. And if you are a family member listening to this and one of your knucklehead Scientologists is trying to get you to disconnect from your family member who left Scientology, please wake up and realize that is ultimate insanity. It's like multi-level Scientology awfulness, right? Where it's like it's spilling down onto these people that were never even in Scientology, and now they're disconnecting from their kids and their grandkids because this guy that's in says, we won't talk to you if you talk to them. Huh? And you're going to side with that? Come on. They're your grandchildren. Wow, my light just went out. See? That happens. That's what happens with that's a perfect example. That's what happens with disconnection. It's awful. It is. The lights just go off. So there you go. Perfect example in my own room, and I didn't set it up that way. It just happened, but it's true. It does. The lights go out for the family. That's it. And people think, it's never going to happen to me, or couldn't possibly be that bad. It is that bad. One of my friends up north used to give out flyers when she picketed saying, Scientology, find out about Scientology. It's worse than you think. Okay, so Milieu Control, one of them is that. This is a key one for Scientology where they get that going. It's called Keeping Scientology Working. You can see it says having the correct technology, knowing the correct technology, knowing it's correct, teaching correctly the correct technology, applying the technology, seeing that the technology is correctly applied, hammering out of existence incorrect technology, knocking out incorrect applications, closing the door on any possibility of incorrect technology, and closing the door on incorrect application. That is KSW, 1 to 10. And you have to know that. And if you have to do this whole word clearing thing where you have to read it out loud, and if you stumble at all, you have to find your misunderstood word. This is over and over and over. Every single course that you're on, you have to do Keeping Scientology Working, number 1. That's Milieu Control, right? Because it's not only controlling your friends, which they slowly cut off any of your friends, and if you're in an abusive relationship, there's the light, see, came back on. If you're in an abusive relationship and someone is trying to get you cut off from people that you love, don't do it, okay? This is part of mind control. And this is why I'm doing this series on mind control. Because people have written me from other cults now who are going, oh my God, I saw your videos and realized I'm in a cult, right? And if you are, you can get out. It's nothing more than walking across the street. You feel like it's like jumping off of a cliff 1,000 feet high. And my perception was there was a little sign at the bottom that said, you might make it if you jump. I had to jump. And I have a sign that I keep in my house, leap and the net will appear. And I do believe that. So I made the leap, and it's been a great, great thing. My life has just gotten better and better and better. So I tell everyone, if you want to leave an abusive organization or abusive relationship, it really is nothing more than walking across the street. There's a line in the middle. Walk over to the other side and give us a call. We'll be there. We'll pick you up. There you go. There's tons and tons of people, especially in Scientology. There's thousands of people that are out of Scientology. Most of your friends that you used to have that now you don't ever see anymore. My friend and I used to think, well, they're helping their parents, or they died, or they moved to Clearwater. No, they're out. I mean, it took me, I think, 2 years with my girlfriend. She'd mention a name, and I'd say, well, they're still in, right? She'd say, hell no, they left in 1980. It was amazing. It just blew my mind how many times that would happen. So another thing Scientology does that's really tricky is they use their language, which anybody who's heard, I mean, a lot of people pointed out to me, I probably still use some of their language. Not nearly what I did. When I first left, I was like a total Martian. And thank goodness for a couple of my friends who'd been in for years and left in the 80s. And they would say to me, every time I'd say a word, they'd say, what does that mean? You know, I'd say, well, he's not really uptone. Well, what does that mean in English? Well, it means he's not really cheerful. You know, that was my own. Uptone was, Hubbard had this tone scale, right? And he decided, you know, he actually put numbers on them and decided what number you were. And you were supposed to be from 2.0 on up. And anything from 2.0 below was bad news. And so Scientologists, even though they say it's freedom and communication, they are constantly evaluating people all the time. So if you run into them, they're putting you into a little box. This is who they are, they're this, they're PTS, they're this tone level, that. They've got all this little stuff that's so nitpicky. I remember right before I left, I had a party. I'm thinking, it was all OT7s and 8s, and all they could do was, you know, nitpick about this and that and this and that. And I thought, there was one lady there who was a girlfriend of one of my friends who was a Scientologist. She was not, and she was a Buddhist. And that's what I was before I got in Scientology. And I remember thinking, if I had to pick one person to hang around with, it'd be her. It wouldn't be any of these OT7s or 8s. They're just completely opposite of what I thought they'd be. And they are. And you can look at them. If you're in, look around at them. And if you're in an abusive cult or a relationship, look at the person. It's hard to confront evil. It's hard to confront that something you've put your faith and hope in and belief and trust in is really something creepy. Now, I don't want to get you guys all off on everybody's creepy and weird, because that isn't true either. I mean, we all have our flaws. We all have our mistakes. That's a different thing. But when somebody's continuously over and over cutting you off from your friends, over and over, you know, organizing your communication so that it goes along with what they say you should believe or think, that is a cult, okay? And it is destructive. And you know the difference. One, okay, you know, it's something where somebody's saying, I don't like that about something, and you disagree. Okay, that's a disagreement. The other one is like, you need to do this now. And it's like, really? And there is something, listen to your heart. Don't listen to your mind, because your mind can get mind control. But your heart's your heart. And your heart tells you. So listen to your heart, listen to music. If you're in an abusive cult or relationship, get out today. Walk across the street, take your life back. I welcome you here. And believe me, a ton of us do. And I thank every single person out there who has helped spread the word about this abusive cult, and I believe it is a cult, the Church of Scientology. But whether you think it's a religion or not, to me it couldn't be farther from religion. It is a mafia-like organization. And judges, type in Scientology plus judges, and look what the judges have to say about Scientology. And they were in court with them. All right, kids, I hope you're having a good week, and I love you guys. Thank you. Please pass on this link, because it's important. People are still getting suckered in, and their only solution is to learn about it ahead of time. All right, so peace out. I'm going to have more soon. Bye-bye.